Alrighty then. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of our update for Let's Play. We finally did it. We activated the fused frame factory. So, actually, as you might be able to tell, left-hand corner there, we're in early access branch in update 4 for the first time ever. Pretty exciting stuff. Update 4 just released on the early access branch yesterday. So, yay, mod support and stuff that I don't use. But I bet you guys are really excited for that. So, awesome stuff. Super hyped. The updates and patches and whatnot for update 4 have just been killing it. Super smooth, great performance, amazing gameplay, all the stuff. So, today we're going to go over our new setup here that we did for fused frames. We'll just take a quick look at it and go over some of the design ideas, you know, basically how I design my factories now. Give you guys a quick look at the storage system just around the factory in general. We set up our first multi-drone. And yeah, I think that's basically more or less it. So let's get right on down to it, shall we? So here we are now. A very, very basic layout. We have 2 blenders creating the mod frames, the fused mod frames. We have 1 drone that takes them back to main base, which is somewhere in this general direction. This drone, as well, he brings over heavy mod frames from main base, since we have some over there and we're not really using them for anything aside from storage. So we bring them here to be made into fused frames. So right now these fused frames are just going into storage, but the future plan is to be using them for nuclear pasta. So now that we've got this factory up, we have built all the factories. We have fused mod frames up here. We got turbo motors down there. We've got our nuclear setup with plutonium here. So all we've really got left to set up is for space elevator mission number 3. Now that's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a doozy and a half. If we go all the way down to the bottom here. Nuclear pasta. Oh, this is actually probably going to be one of the simpler ones, seeing as you can see the pressure conversion cube just wants a radio control unit, which we're already making. Copper powder, super easy, just pulverize some copper ingots. And then nuclear pasta itself, and that's going to be project part number 9. We're going to make some of the thermal propulsion rockets, as well as the magnetic field generators, and feed those into the space elevator, guys. It's gonna be crazy, I actually cannot believe the amount of work and production that goes into space elevator mission number 3. Massive. So yeah, real quick, for you guys that are interested, we'll just go through super fast. I get asked all the time, you know, how you plan out factories and stuff like this, and how you plan out where and what you're gonna make and how you're gonna do it and all that sort of thing. So basically, I've been using this strategy ever since we first made our aluminum factory last year. And the strategy is build on bauxite. So we've got our bauxite miner just right over yonder. You can see it, it's right there. And then everything else we ship in via trains. I've actually even got a train to bring in more bauxite in case we run out over here. So we line up our train stations, and then we line up the factory to match, right? So obviously way down there at the end where we just were, that's the end of the line where the fused frames are. And as you get all the way back to the beginning here, we start with the really basic materials, you know, like iron plates and steel ingots. We got steel beams, screws, bolted plates, more screws, mod frames, concrete, concrete encased steel beams. You're getting the idea, I'm sure. So this is the way I love to build. It's super duper simple. We have trains set up for all the basic resources, and it makes it super easy to basically just pop a factory up anywhere, just call over a train, and then you're making it. That's sorts out import, production, and now with update 4, the drones make export a breeze, man. Just slap down a drone port or two, and you can export materials anywhere on the map. No fuss at all. So yeah, actually for once, everything seems to be going well. Haven't noticed any major flaws or problems with the setup yet. So, I think we're going to be basically moving right on over to starting the space elevator factory, which may in fact be our biggest undertaking yet. Set up a train for nitrogen, our first train for nitrogen. Actually have a couple of drones that do nitrogen. They do package nitrogen too. It's really cool. You guys should check that out if you haven't already. You can probably see that in video number 2. Maybe a little bit in video number 1 as well. So yeah, they did one more recipe adjustment for plutonium. I was not super duper happy about that, but they did manage to really not change a whole lot. So we might just pop over there real quick, give you guys a bit of a look. Last thing I think I want to show you guys here is the train tracks. Check it out, eh? We got a new sort of design. It's you know, a little bit on the ugly side, but there's no collisions. So trains will not collide with each other here unless they're going in the same direction, right? Same direction collisions, unless you have completely separate tracks, seem impossible to avoid, right? If 2 trains leave 2 stations at the same time, they're gonna overlap until they go in different directions, right? But other than that, there is no clipping with this design, so super cool. Real quick on like how to build this. Just, oh, it's a toughie, guys. I'm gonna have to maybe make a little bit of a video on this, but real quick, I just use 3 ramps. So I use the double ramp, 8x4. And so you just get 3 of these guys. 1, 2, 3. You know? And then you place this bit of track from the edge of the top to the seam of the bottom. And you do the same over on the other side, and then just connect them together. It's, takes a little bit of messing around with the spacing and whatnot. But, it's totally doable, and once you get the design down, it should be really, really easy to reproduce, so I'll start making some videos. I'm calling it the half trumpet intersection, because it's kind of like based off the classic, flyover trumpet intersection, but it's just like split into halves, you know? It doesn't have the full shape. But it works beautifully for this. Yeah, fantastic. It makes me almost want to update all my old train stations, but you know, I also started putting an empty platform on the back to accommodate our second locomotive that I found necessary for this update. The update 4 seems to have made trains struggle going uphill slightly compared to previous updates. Show you guys real quick the little train bridge we made here. I just think it looks cool. Ended up doing it with diagonal foundations just because of the way the land ended up being. So yeah, check this out, right here. Starts to go off diagonally. So this was a little super weird to build, but once the shape was figured, it was actually not too bad. Yeah, trying to do things on an angle in Satisfactory is super weird, but very, very satisfying once you get her done. And down here is where we have our bit of a climb. So we made that all diagonally as well. I don't know, I kind of went for a bit of a design here. I don't know if you guys like it, but it's a bit of a tooth design, you know? Yeah, I think it came out pretty cool looking. Big hill. So this is basically how we started it here. If you guys are curious on how to build this. It sucks. It took a long time. Took a lot of figuring out. But once you get the basic shape, it's pretty easy. So we started here with our regular square foundations, yeah? You can see them all there. And so at the point that we wanted to start to go diagonally, just started placing these guys. The up corner ramp, 8x2. So this will place right across a regular foundation. And that is how you set your angle, right? So we use a mix of the up corner ramps and the down corner ramps. And that makes this shape, right? So you can see the down corner ramp. And then you place the up corner ramp on top. That makes a nice diagonally facing ramp. It's a little bit janky. Like you can see the seams are a little extra. Like see there's a little extra. But it doesn't really affect anything. So no big. And then, yeah, kind of just build it up. Just build it up. It's just a lot of trial and error. My strategy is usually just building the track along one at a time. So I just build the lead track up there and then try to measure the space between. I have a little tutorial already on the YouTube channel you guys can check out about building trains and such. All right, we'll get back to the main base super quick and show you guys the receiving end of the drone and then maybe aluminum as well. All right, here we go. All right.
Buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. Pepper Airlines is about to take off.
All right, next stop, main base, ladies and gents. Here we go. Hypertube Cannon Express. We'll land ourselves up a main base now, where we're in fact delivering fused mod frames to. And then go over our storage system real quick too. Give you guys a little extra looky look there. Okay, well there she is, the big old main base. You guys remember that, hopefully. Okay, so that's it right there. The drone port. So this guy, he's sending out the heavy mod frames and bringing in the fuse. So basically down here, this is it. This is our heavy mod frame manufacturer. The one and only. I abandoned this setup. It's too cumbersome to increase. Basically, the big problem that we run into is the mod frames and the screws. So I might actually show you guys that. This is one of my biggest ever blunders. So yeah, you might get a kick out of that one. But basically here's a good demonstration, I think, of storage. So I get asked this all the time, right? Basically, we have our final output on our manufacturer and a whole bunch of mergers. If you're wondering like what all this is, it's all just a whole ton of merging. Now, I mean, I guess technically speaking, we do have one splitter going on here, but I think that's just only for like the space elevator or something like that, eh? Yeah, I think that's space elevator part, so just ignore that. But basically what we do is take heavy mod frames once they hit the end of the line, put them onto the sushi belt. You can see that's the sushi belt right there. We call it a sushi belt because it's got more than one item type on it. So again, end of the line, I believe this is the encased concrete beams. Once they have their chance at the manufacturer, we merge them into the sushi belt. We do the same thing with these guys. Just everything, right? Everything from every factory. If I need it in storage, you just take it off the end of the line, merge it onto the sushi belt, and then send the sushi belt to storage. So, long story short, to make a storage system, you're going to want to begin by taking off the end of the line from your factories the items you need. All right, let's get into the storage area. Okay, so here we are in the storage area. Might actually put some lights up in here soon. And yes, you can see again the sushi belt. So it has left our heavy mod frame factory and done the whole tour of the main base, going by all the other factories and picked up everything else. So you can see we still got lots of concrete and things like that. And then we've picked up all the other stuff, you know, all the iron, the motors, computers, just everything, right? Everything we could possibly ever need for building. It's all right there on that belt. Once it arrives here in the storage room, we just start shoving it through smart splitters. One item type per container. The center output always being set to overflow. After the last container, the sushi belt goes on to a big old resource sink. Bada boom, man. you got a storage system. It's just that easy, ladies and gentlemen. You just really need the smart splitters. I would say this. Don't even bother with a storage system until you get smart splitters. Just my opinion, not necessarily a rule, just, you know, my 2 cents. Anyways, guys, let me take you over now to the to the mod frame situation and kind of show you why it is that I made that new setup in the red jungle as opposed to continuing on the one we just saw over there. Ba-bam! Alright, here we are. Our first mod frame factory on the save game. So you can see, this is where we're making the mod frames. So I've got some overclocking going on, and I've got some assemblers that are not being fed enough, right? It's a total mess down here, total mess. Basically, we're short on the reinforced plates, and the reinforced plates are short on screws. So we need more screws. Sounds simple, right? Oh, but not so much. So to summarize, my biggest mistake here was having way too long and complicated of a manifold. I let the manifold get so far out of control that it's gonna be so hard for me. So everything here, the screws, they're being used up as quick as they can be used right now. So if I take more screws for those frames, then the things here, like the rotors and stuff, are gonna start to starve. So I'm gonna have to work my way back and back and back and back. But, wait, there's more. You think, like, this is it? Not even close. Check this out, guys. So these screws actually come from a galaxy far, far away. And, it's just, it's so extensive. This is all screws. It's so extensive that I've totally given up on it because this manifold is just too unwieldy. There is no untangling this knot of string, man. It's gone bad. It's gone really bad. Thankfully, I taught myself a very valuable lesson here. Manifolds are powerful, but you can't let it get to this point with screws and stuff because it just, well, it really screws you over in the long run. It's so hard to keep track of, and you end up with such a rough system that's so hard to redesign and expand. Thankfully, I've come up with a bit of a solution for this. So let me take you guys over to somewhere that we're doing screws. That makes a little more sense. Hi, Steve. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, prepare to fly air pepper again. Here we go. Bye-bye, main base. Okay, so we're taking you guys down on over to aluminum to show you how I do screws now. Now, we don't technically do screws at aluminum, because that doesn't make any sense, right? But we do aluminum scrap. And aluminum scrap, just like screws, is an absurdly high volume item. So I do believe that it will it'll demonstrate what I want to show you guys here with the manifold. So that screw manifold, it's just like, you know, so bad. Like, it needs to go, honestly. I kind of want to redesign it, but I just haven't worked up to doing that yet. So going forwards, I still like to use manifolds, and manifolds are great, man, especially for low volume items, like, you know, things like turbo motors, man. You could, like, manifold, like, 700 manufacturers together because they only make it, like, 1 per minute. It's fantastic. So simple. It saves you a lot of grief. Then you have the flip side of the coin. One of these bad boys, just one of these bad boys, is making 360 aluminum scrap. So that means 2 of these guys, press N for a calculator. That's already practically Mark V belt speed right there. Just 2 of these bad boys, man. That's it. That's the scrap. So, what do I do when we hit that point? We break the manifold. Yep, that's right, guys. Just that simple, man. We break the manifold and we just stop. So this is a fixed ratio. So ignore that 1 refinery, or those 2 refineries even, because those are reserved for batteries further down the line. So starting from this refinery and out is a perfect ratio. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to the 1, 2 to the 8. So these 8 foundries use up all that scrap, and that scrap uses up the alumina solution from these 4 right there. So it's max belt speed, perfectly balanced, just excellent. So we end up needing more aluminum than this. What do? We just make an exact identical copy of the system over here. So you can see we've got more aluminum scrap going on. And it's built in the same line. It's built just across. This is some reserved space for another bus system like we have over here. Otherwise, it would be much closer, right? And yeah, we just build out the same thing, right? 2 to 1 to 4, perfectly balanced. This will produce the 4 foundries worth of aluminum ingots, no problem. And then we can even double this up and fit our other 360 of scrap on that belt. And then when we need more, we just split the manifold again. So the advantage of doing things this way is that you don't run into screw hell. The disadvantage is you need to do a little math. You need to do a little planning. You need to do a little calculation. And you don't always get this lucky. Like, this aluminum recipe is pitch perfect. Like, that doesn't always happen with the recipe chain. So, you know, sometimes you gotta compromise a little bit. One of our big bad bus systems. This is a, just like the fused mod frames, but we do turbo motors. So it's a very big, complex setup. We do the radio control units here as well. Additionally, actually, this factory has sort of a tertiary job in that it also makes our batteries for our drones. So over here, we actually have our battery drone station. So you might notice fuse mod frames are gone here. Since we made the new factory, we got rid of our temp setup. So we got rid of the fuse mod frame drone station. This is the first drone port that is actually hooked to 2 other drone ports. So if we take a look, yeah, look at that, eh? Isn't that so cool? So you can totally do this. I go over this, I think, in the second video. I think I made some mistakes. My information wasn't quite fully up to date when I was making that video. But, Yeah, each drone port that you place can only have one drone attached to it. But seeing as you attach 2 drone ports together, each of those drone ports can have a drone. So what you can do is you can essentially squid stations together, right? This one battery send port originally just sent to the receive port, and the receive port comes back. But now we set up a secondary receive port, and we placed a drone down on this port, and he comes over here to pick up. And so we can do this with as many ports as we want, you know, up until we're unable to supply enough batteries. But batteries are pretty low consumption. I have like how many drones do we really have going on right now? Like not too many. You know, how many stations do we have here? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I mean, I think we have like less than 12 drones flying around out there ish. And this is the only battery production we have, and it does a fantastic job. Yeah, the drones drones OP. Do not nerf. They're so good. Like, going forwards, we're gonna definitely keep using them, and yeah, I've got big plans for the drones, man. I got big plans. You also might notice glorious ultra graphics. Okay, that's maybe not the best example, but man, dude, the performance is no longer super affected. Like, I get the same frame rate here whether I'm using ultra or low settings. Like, the optimization on this patch is nuts. Definitely look forward to that, guys. Look forward to that. It's really good. It's yeah, just awesome. We've got our pretty much our one and only factory light ever. I think I'm gonna get a little more liberal with the lights going forwards and start to place a few more. I don't want to go too crazy. I fear the performance effects of the lights. What do you guys think? Do you think the lights are gonna have a performance effect? I'm starting to think they might not, really. Because I think graphics are kind of like yesterday's news. Okay, so one real quick last look at fused frames. Alrighty. So here we are, back at the beginning again. Just want to build on this whole screw thing that I've been rambling on about. So we're doing screws here again. This is the fused frame factory, you guys remember? So this is our most recent build. So I did decide to use screws instead of avoiding them. My theory now is to use whatever we're building. Doesn't matter what we're building. Whatever we're building, I always use the highest per minute recipe, right? So I don't care if it's the default recipe, if it's an alternate recipe. I just use whatever makes the highest amount of items per minute. This way I can make the most out of the least machines. Which in my mind makes for easier building and hopefully potentially better game performance, right? One manufacturer's got to be better than 4, so that's the theory. And so in this, the fused frames, this led me to a lot of screw-based recipes. So if you're gonna do screw-based recipes, you gotta do yourself a favor and do steel screws, right? You remember back at the Nightmare factory there, you might have noticed that I was using vanilla screws, and that's why we had like 15,000 million constructors. Steel screws, they don't have that problem. Check this out. That's all the steel beams we make for the whole show. Like, those steel beams go down the line, man. So this is the first set of steel screws. Just 2 machines together. So press N for the calculator. As in numbers. 520. You know, you could fit a third. Look at that. So 3 of these constructors can fit on one Mark V. So these two are almost exactly what's needed for these guys. So these guys are using 250 per, and these guys are producing 260. So you could, like, you know, underclock this or whatever to get it to the perfect. I kind of just leave it. I'm not fussed like that. But it works out perfectly. Makes these guys no belt speeds exceeded. The leftover steel beams come down the line. Next up, guess what it is, guys? More screws! So, see, we break the manifold because 2 plus 3, as we all know, is 5. And according to our math, that is not gonna work. That is way over belt speed. So this is a much better way of doing it. Our next thing is the mod frames with screws. So we got 4 of them. That's a lot of screws. So we placed 3 of these guys. So as you can see, we got 4 assemblers. So N for math, times 4, 560. These guys doing 260 per comes up just short for 2. So we do the third one. Now that means we're wildly overproducing. You might think like, oh, why don't you just overclock these? And now if you want to do that, that's totally fine. But my idea is to eventually overclock the end of the line. And when we do that, we're going to have to overclock everything to back it up. So if we overclock these guys now, we won't be able to match the speed when we overclock the end of the line. So this is how we do it instead. After these screws, the steel beams go on, and I'm sure you guys get the drill by now. We split them off again. I believe this time is actually for concrete encased steel beams. And we split them off again for more screws, and I believe that is it. So that is how you break the manifold in a way that doesn't break you. So yeah, there it is. That's the whole thing, guys. The whole tour. I'd show you plutonium, but I feel like we really did nail it in the last couple of episodes there. And now they have updated it again, the plutonium, but basically the build remains the same and it remains functional. But instead of using up to 780 uranium waste per minute, now it's only using up to 300. So that's basically the change, is the build uses a lot less uranium waste. Now, apparently the reactors produce a lot less uranium waste too, so it's all kind of scaled differences. But I guess we're gonna just have to keep on playing, building, and see how that unfolds. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for hanging out. Lovely factory time. We'll see you on the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know, guys, how you like the video, you know, what you want to see in the future. We are going to be making all progress towards the space elevator. We did not too long ago, before we set up the factory that stands behind me, finished unlocking all the hard drives. So we have all the alternate recipes at our disposal, and yeah, many fun times, man, many fun times. Might spend some time to finish and beautify some of our factories. You may have noticed a lot of our new build is floating and stuff like that. Just, you know. All right, anyways, peace out for now. I'll see you guys in the next episode.